EG yesterday, whereas Immortals have lost border every single time they have played it. Although they have 50% round win-loss rate in it, that's actually kind of weird, but it's
the math.
Yeah, I guess I screwed one number here or there, but whatever. So, operators coming up. Immortals started with the Lion Ban, and then Element replied with Glass Ban. These are
pretty common
bans. The Lion Ban from Immortals is their most banned attacking operator, so there's nothing new in that. Mirror Ban, quite common in all regions, even more so in EU. But statistically, Immortals would have banned that anyway, so now they have the option to go for Maestro, which is their second most banned operator overall.
Do you think that's due to them just not doing their homework in terms of the bans, like opening that up?
That might be the reason, or they just want to play it safe.
Yeah.
If, for some reason, Immortals would not ban it. So, just in case, let's ban it out. Because, after all, the castle ban, this is actually...
I mean, that's not, like... I mean, that makes some sense, but it's just... I don't know if castle's ever been banned before.
Not in border, at least. Like, it's not that strong, because in border, you usually bring sledge.
Yeah.
So, the castle is kind of like... kind of useless, but...
Not to mention you're usually going to have Zofia in there as well.
At least Zofia.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes down here. That does mean, though, that other operators are going to be available now that might not have been, you know, had they gone for a different ban. And they're actually going to start on ventilation, which is an interesting choice. We do see it occasionally. They were going to go lockers, but decided to change their mind.
It used to be that the armory side was the go-to side for all the teams, but then... people realized that it's actually quite easy to defend the workshop ventilation first, because you defend it pretty much the same way as armory.
But you usually have castle to do that.
You do, and there is the sledge to deny that. So you don't need it, because there is the sledge every single time, most of the cases.
Do you think it makes it harder to play harder to play around the bathroom though without that castle?
Not really. I think like normal barricade can work it out just fine, or you can put shield to the doorway and play inside of the bathroom, because you can play like smoke there with a shotgun, and he kills pretty much anyone who enters to the toilet if he's close by with a shotty.
Fair point there, especially if they take control of tellers. You just kind of wait, because you're usually going to hear them coming at that point.
Yeah, but like I said, it plays out pretty much similar to the armory, because you leave one or two guys playing below, which you usually do even in the armory defense, and then you have their 3 guys upstairs, like in armory defense. But in this case, you just burn time on the upstairs, so you will have the 3 players upstairs. You don't need to fight to the death. You just burn time. If you get if you're able to burn like 2 minutes off the clock, amazing. If you burn 2 minutes 30 seconds, that's pretty much round 1 at that point. But anything between there, it's fine. You just drop down from the hatches and you're safe, and you still have all your people alive in most situations, so you have burned the clock, but now the attackers have the top control, but there's not much time left in most cases, so they need to hurry to plant either in the ventilation room or to the workshop, so it puts pressure to the attackers, and that might be the reason why so many teams have switched to favor the ventilation workshop. Well,
they definitely seem to have gone with Sledge despite the fact that Castle was banned, so it just doesn't seem to be any kind of direct counter to Castle.
Yeah, that kind of doesn't make sense, because
Ooh.
Cyber getting the first kill on Oni with a Jaeger, but the Sledge pick doesn't really make sense, because Buck would be so much useful, because you could go from below and make holes to the roof or ceiling and throw grenades from there, or just like deny some locations, like from the B-bomb side you can deny the basic wall spot from smoke, or bandit to deny juggles and etc. So Buck would make more sense.
In this case, they do slowly work their way towards top floor control. We're going for a reset from 1 onto Yuke, taking quite a few shots to do so. In the meantime, though, Cyber takes down Sweet Black, and that is another attacker down. That Buck is down, so now it's all going to be on Sledge to attack from the top, assuming they can even get top floor control. As the shots come down for Cyber, looking for a second kill. Not going to be granted that wish, as Hetty actually is the one to take him down. Noviso trades it back onto Hetty, and Novis gets a second one on Elio. This is the player, of course, that you pointed out. One of the strongest players. Unfortunately, Envy Taylor rushing around the corner still manages to win that fight against Yuke, but now he's got very low health, and it won't matter as Navi's finds his third kill. The excitement coming out from Immortals.
Yeah, the excitement is also important for the Brazilian teams. Like they are, you could say, warm bloods. So if you don't have the feel for the game, or you're feeling a little bit off from the game, you usually play pretty poorly. So you want to have the feel to the game and the excitement that yes, I'm succeeding.
Yeah, we were just talking about that last match as well, but in regards to Market, the French kind of being in a similar situation.
I think it's all the countries that have warm atmosphere or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, being from a colder climate, you're more chill, right?
Yeah, I'm a cool guy.
He's the coolest. Well, we'll see how they fare on Armory Lockers, though. They did not have to, or they did have to switch because they won it, so they're going to go to that. I mean, there's not great necessarily alternatives for the third site. We have seen some teams do a very good job with bathroom tellers. Some teams still try customs. I mean, do you think customs can even work in this current meta?
Well, for the customs, I would actually say the castle is pretty important to have. But yeah, I think in this case, when castle is not available, you will favor most likely the toilet teller area as the third bomb site. But you don't really want to go there unless you win the armory or the ventilation.
But you can say the same thing for customs when it comes to Mira being banned as well. So both sites are kind of nerfed to an extent.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. But you can always bring the frost.
Or you can just throw one of your defense rounds, then you don't have to play it, right?
Someone said that I'm daddy of the frost, but I don't know why.
Interesting choice.
Trailer, you know. I know the mindset.
Oh, from the Still have yet to see it. It hasn't debuted yet, so I imagine we'll get that later towards the weekend. We do have them slowly approaching the actual map here, droning it out with the Twitch drone. Look for any kind of cameras to take out. There is no extra utility around for him to take out just yet. Could spot an Echo drone though, but Bandit decided he doesn't want to lose his batteries. Actually manages to miss Neo's drone, who's going to continue to tease it, probably pushing it a bit here in terms of teasing that because he does want to get those batteries, but gets away with a second shot on there. And in the meantime, though, Cyber does go down to Hetty. Nice initial kill. Traded back by, though, Navi's onto Nelio, who is definitely not going to be running that shock drone anymore. So far, one of either team gone, but I would say the bigger loss being for the attackers, as most likely Jaeger has already done his job to an extent.
Yeah, but altogether it was nice drone hunt from the Element. Although they didn't kill the guy that they were hunting, the bandit, it was actually the Jaeger getting killed from the blue, so it was weird that the Buck wasn't pushing with the Twitch drone to actually fight for the kill.
That solo push unfortunately didn't work as now he's dead. Of course, Grenade unfortunately missing from below as well. Sweet Black looking for another opportunity. Just doesn't have the intel to make it work. He is opening up at least some holes, but it might be better to have a drone following him up here to give him some place to hit those. Sweet Black instead going to rotate around possibly to metal stairs here. Diogo actually looking through one of those holes. I think that might have been one of the holes created by Buck. So I guess there's taking advantage of that. You hear the Echo drone going off, the Yokai firing off at someone trying to make their approach, and it's going to rotate around, trying to guard this metal staircase at the top here. They are going to start pushing it potentially soon. It looks like they backed off of it. Still droning and clearing the bottom floor. They don't have anyone left there to find there, but actually the damage from below, great use of that scanner by Onichan. Going to take down yet another defender, and that is the Echo player down, so that means it's all in smoke to delay this play, although I suppose the Legion Mines will help a bit as well.
Yeah, Echo was driving his Yokai all the time, so IQ can see that and getting a pretty easy kill. But yep, this is pretty normal for the map. When they play upstairs, the armory defense, you take the bottom floor to deny any C4s from there, and once you have the bottom floor, you rotate to either the office or the armory, and you start your push. That's gonna start soon because Termite is opening the wall.
Yep, no bandit tricking happening here. Hetty, though, in the meantime, getting a kill onto that bandit, so he's definitely not going to be tricking anything anytime soon. But there's the smoke getting taken down through his own smoke. Great shot by Envy Taylor. All down to Yuke here to try and hold this together against a lot of attackers here. Does have some good advantage angles, but they absolutely know where he's at. And he's cornered, but they line up for him. He's getting free kill after free kill. They just gifted Yuke around. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a round you never were supposed to lose. The guy's in a one corner. Well, that you had 4 people alive. Just drone him out and kill him, and then the lineup from the 2 guys. There was absolutely no communication in that, because you need to say, I peek first, you follow, not at the same time.
Go for the trade at least if he's the first guy. Get him while he's on the reload, right?
Yeah.
Either way, though, they are going to try customs because of what you said, of course, about the castle being banned. It makes bathroom that much more difficult. So they're going to go for that, but it's not going to be easy. They're definitely going to have to kind of fight for CCTV control for as long as they can.
Yeah, CCTV is the key to holding the customs, because you get all those line of sights from CCTV to the A-bomb side and to the B-bomb side, both, and also you can kind of see somewhat to the jail area. So it is a really crucial place to hold. What I would have liked to see is the frost peak that we didn't see as a 6 pick, so that can be really beneficial in this, because there's a lot of windows that the attackers try to jump in this hold. One is in the storage room right at the A-bomb side, and then there is the one at the CCTV window and one on the ventilation room where you usually see people coming up in the building. So those are good places to use the frost traps.
You think that's because those are positions where they also kind of have to rush in quickly to take control of that area, especially the A-bomb one, right? Because of course you're jumping in to a bomb site.
Yeah, and especially against teams like that don't drone so well. If you hide those frost traps well, they might not even drum them out, and when they are hurrying the late execute, they might actually step on those.
Well, in this case, they also went for the 6 pick from the Echo to the Pulse, which means, of course, he's going to be playing for a bit more control from downstairs. C4s, of course, are useful, I suppose, if they manage to lose control of that CCTV, which is pretty much inevitable, right? You're rarely going to be able to hold CCTV the entire round.
Yeah, there's usually two ways to take the CCTV. One is straight up, fight it, and the other one is to go from the office side and first take the office, then the armory, and then from the armory you will have the crossfires to the CCTV, and then you can supposed to push it from the outside balconies as well. So it will be interesting to see which one of these two ways the element will actually use.
Now they also have the thermite, which is most likely useful for blowing open passport to be able to go for a push inside into the customs room. But that's also a case where if, of course, Sweet Black dies, they definitely will have a lot less ability to enter from multiple angles and be forced to maybe fight downward once they take CCTV. Yuke, though, already taking a bit of damage. He definitely needs to stay alive a bit longer, of course, to make those goo mines happen, to slow down any kind of attack, because this is somewhat a delay game, right? Because the longer you can hold CCTV, the more they have to get desperate and drop down into the push. But Cyber already getting the first kill. He seems to always be involved either on the receiving end or the giving end of these early kills. In this case, though, he is not playing on the Jaeger this time. He is playing on Valkyrie, and that is a good early kill on the Zofia, which would potentially have done quite a bit of damage on this attack.
Yeah, and it looks to be the office take from Element, so I just hope they would have been faster, because there was no one contesting them. So, oh, you getting one kill and Oni-chan replying it to Yuke, so nice trade, at least for Oni-chan.
Well, that leaves it in a 4v3 situation. Advantage to the defenders, not to mention, of course, time to be burned. Navi's actually rotates all the way over to CCTV to help hold it, along with his teammate of Cyber. They are doing a good job holding it. As you mentioned, they are attacking from the other side, but Thermite trying to come from the break room, shut down by Navi's. Great kill there. Oni-chan, though, trading it right onto his buddy as he abandons him. Cyber going down. That means CCTV control now potentially going to go over to Oni-chan, but nope.
Oni-chan really pulling on for his team. That's the third kill of the round.
Yeah. It's been a good one for him, but it is still a 2v2. There's still plenty of time for both the attackers and the defenders to change this. But now, as I said, CCTV control has gone over to the attackers. The Pulse is still alive, though, to be able to counter any kind of push by at least Intel, potentially C4, but I don't think either of these guys is going to stand still long enough for C4. Smokes are starting to come out to try and slow things down, though. 20 seconds left. They've got to make this push happen. Pulse far off site, looking for a push from the corridor or metal. They are starting to delay this here. Smoke is downstairs inside jail, trying to stop push. The push has actually come as he gets denied. Diffuser dropped. Ash comes around the corner, failing to make most of his shots. Almost lands one, but one finished it off with the pistol. Fantastic defense for the third time by Immortals, although I would call that second one a bit of a fluke.
Yeah, exactly. Like 20 seconds left on the round, you drop from with two people from the one hatch in the middle of the both bomb sites. That's like the most obvious place to drop. Personally, I would prefer to rotate to the blue hole from the square area and just come through the doorway, then the pulse would have been, well, they didn't know what the pulse was, but it would have been off persistent, and they only would have needed to fight the smoke at the jail, or they could have gotten pretty much free plant also to the corner of the small closet.
Yeah, absolutely. And that obviously is one of those things, of course, when you're at the last second there, you don't have the intel to make that call. That comes down to the IGL making that call. But either way, it was a decent attack. It just got slowed down probably too much in the middle there.
Yeah, they did really well holding the CCTV for that long and rotating between CCTV and the armory constantly to not make sure how many people are at the CCTV, because when you drone it, you say, okay, 2 people, but then there's the one guy rotating all the time between armory and the CCTV. There was actually 3 people there, so that kind of messes up your droning.
Well, surprisingly, despite winning the last 3 rounds, it looks like a tactical timeout here from Immortals. They're going to look at what they might be doing wrong in terms of some of these defenses, but they only have 2 left to do here. So I feel like it's a bit premature to be calling a tactical timeout like this, as you only get 1 per map. But I feel like we saw the similar thing from Map1 as well. They called those out early. Could be as well, though, if there's a tilt situation happening or some of the players' comms are having problems. Might just be like a coaching kind of situation as well.
Yeah, if you see you're doing well, but some of your players are tilting, of course you want to cool them down. That might be the one reason, or one reason is that your guys are getting way too excited. So you just want to calm down. It's only 3 rounds.
Yeah, take a break, guys. Take a breather. Don't get too aggressive. Don't overpeak it. Well, they have won all 3 bomb sites now, so of course they're going to rotate back to the first one, which in this case was ventilation. Now, the fact that they won customs despite some of the bans working against them, that's got to favor them pretty well in going into the second time around in some of the more favored bomb sites, I would think.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be pretty much the same thing as the first time. 2 people are downstairs, 3 people upstairs, holding the armory as long as possible, and then rotating back down. It's going to come down how fast Element is able to take the map control from the office or from the CCTV towards the armory and the archives, so that you can actually start the push to the bomb side. Of course, there's always the possibility to just not care about the top floor and rush B, but
sometimes that works.
It's sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely a risky move to make. Depends on droning, of course, right?
Yeah.
If you see an opening, you can try and take it. They are playing at least with some speedy operators here with Oni-chan on Ashe. They are going with the Ashe and Zofia combo too as well, so interesting to see. Now the Thatcher itself, though, is that even going to be really necessary? Is that mostly just to speed up being able to take the top floor in terms of dealing with bandits on the wall?
Yeah, it's to deny the bandit batteries, but of course if he's juggling, it doesn't really help to do that. But we have seen Novus mostly just roaming around, so he's not actively juggling at all. He's just placing the batteries and then roaming, so the Thatcher helps with that quite a bit. Although in this map, many cases you don't need the Thatcher because you can destroy the batteries from the front door. You just go next to the front door, shoot the batteries with Ashe jars, Sophia's jars, or with Buck.
A little riskier, though, do you think, doing from the front door, because they're playing downstairs in this case?
Yeah, but there's really rarely anyone challenging that.
Well, Novi's too little too late to challenge that. Does not stop it. He is still playing near there. He just unfortunately could not do anything about it. They are looking for any weaknesses in the B side, though. They have at least a decent amount of things open for their attack, having that wall open now, but no one's dead yet at the minute 30 mark here, and that means it's going to be much harder for them to press and take top floor control, as there actually is 3 people playing downstairs now. One has rotated down. Flashbangs going out to start to open things up, but there is someone playing nearby. C4 throw, unfortunately, does not do any damage. Sweet Black, though, doing damage onto Yuke. That is the Legion down. That means less goo mines going into this, but a lot of defenders still left playing this with a minute 10. They're going to have to get a little more aggressive on pushing towards some of the map control here. And they have upstairs. They have to capitalize on it now for the most part in order to turn this into a win. Still droning this phase, though, and Oni-chan going down. That's not going to be good for the Ashe player there. Doesn't look like they're going to go for a revive. In this case, though, Hetty does take down Navi's, and now attackers at a 4.5-man advantage, I would say, as Oni-chan's bleeding out outside of the window. No one going to try and recover him just yet, but they don't seem to need him as they still have 1-man advantage. 40 seconds left, not a lot of time, but Oni-chan does get picked up. Cyber trying to use a crack here inside security as well as peeking over the top of this. Good spot for that, but NV Taylor taking down Diogo, now down to the last 2, Cyber and 1. Olsen Jaeger trying to hold on to this, They are still holding the site, but Cyber, playing a little bit off site, does find one through a crack. That's Diffuser down now. He is not completely dead. Nelio, in the meantime, taking down one, is on Cyber, cannot find the kill, and Sweet Black finishing things off. The Thermite of Death. There goes Cyber. Not the beginning win this time.
Yeah, nice run from Element. They didn't use too much time taking the top floor control, so they actually had time to spend before they execute the bomb site, and they got some picks also, so that helps. But I gotta say, it was also nice from Immortals, because they still spent it like 1 minute 30 seconds from the attackers holding the top floor, and then rotated down, so they didn't lose any people to waste that time.
Which is rare sometimes. I think a lot of times when there's a 3-man up top, chances are you're going to lose 1 or 2 going into that fight.
Yeah. But I would say nice run from both. Elements just played it better in the end.
Well, that's what matters, right? But at least they have a point on the board now.
Yeah.
And that is, I mean, it's pretty far back though. They are 2 down. This is the last defensive round, but maybe they'll be a bit better on their defense.
It's border. Let's be honest. Defending is much easier in this map than attacking. So if you get 2 rounds from the attack, it's quite okay.
Well, we'll see if they can manage to pull it off. We are going to see a last-minute pick over there, 6 pick to Maestro, which is, I think, the first Maestro we've seen. That maybe throw them off a little bit, but not sure that that's going to be a big impact. They aren't going to be running with the Pulse this time.
Yeah, Pulse is really important. Or Valkyrie, whichever you can bring on the defense, because when you play on the top floor, you want to, at some point of the round, not necessarily in the beginning, but some point you want to rotate down and then have the C4 ready when the enemy team actually executes and tries to plant the diffuser, so you can deny that with C4s. Some teams use Valkyrie, some teams use Pulse, but whichever you use, it's going to get the job done in most cases, because you will get the same information.
There's not a ton of places you can place the diffuser elevated as well on this. I mean, there's maybe the desk and archives, but outside of that, not a lot of places you can try and hide from this.
Yeah. But, of course, because of that, it's usually really important in this attack that the attackers actually take the bottom floor control and leave the one guy, usually Buck, to the bottom floor around workshop area, and he's just gonna be there and deny those late drop downs and the C4 usage from the defenders.
Does seem like they prefer a Sledge over Buck. In this case, though, I feel like Buck would obviously have some potential advantage, obviously, because Sledge cannot shoot up, or he can't use his hammer upwards, rather. So they are at the disadvantage, because it's going to depend more on someone like Oni-chan or NV Taylor to be able to do some damage from below.
Well, we saw it last time. Hedy went downstairs, and he used his nades without drone info. He's tried to get those lottery picks with the grenades, but if you would have Buck, ooh, that was a run out from Novus and getting killed by the Claymore.
Early kill there. Again, Navi's one of the early kills. And you mentioned they lean a lot on Navi's, so him dying early is definitely going to hurt them.
Yeah, really badly. He's by far their best player and getting most of the kills of the whole team. So, yeah, really important for them.
Maybe we'll see that second attack right then for them. Still gonna creep though.
Here is the reason why you don't usually need the Tatzer, because you can do this and destroy the batteries, and like you saw, you are pretty safe because there's no direct line of sight from the main door area towards the Sophia using the launcher.
I like the double play though, to make sure they got both batteries at the same time. That was interesting. You usually don't see that. You see one of them doing that job. So I feel like the whole like Zofia and Twitch drone combo thing for that has really kind of fallen off. They do have a rotate there. Sweet Black in the meantime taking down Diogo. Smoke is dead now, so it's going to depend a bit more on Maestro and Legion. Cyber, of course, is alive as well. Yuke opening up a line of sight, but he's actually getting stunned in the meantime above the Zofia of NV Taylor. Hole's getting open in the floor as well from grenades. Cyber, though, in the meantime, takes down Oni-chan, and that is the first defensive kill. It is all down to the last 3 versus 4. 57 seconds, though. Plenty of time for the attackers to still make this work. They've got to start pitching out some of these defenders. They have the wall open. They have the positioning. Nelio taking down Cyber means one less defender, as well as more grenades flying on in. The 2 defenders both sitting here. One low on health, having to cover 2 different angles for his teammate. Not running the ACOG, but instead the red dot on the Alda. Yuke, though, does find one on Sweet Black, slowly equalizing this. 30 seconds left, though, as the attackers stall out. This is actually slowly rolling in the favor of the defenders. If they can find one more pick here, they don't have a lot of utility as they spent a lot of it throwing grenades in here. Missed shots there gives Nelio a free kill onto Yuke. It's all on one here with less than half health to fight off against 3 fully health attackers who succeed in planting. He is definitely in a trapped position now as they all start to spread out around him. Goes for the shots, does Well, I was going to say takes one down, but Neilio finds a second one. Great attack round, and there we go. That second attack round for the guys.
Nicely played from Element, and to be honest, they should have won the last attack to the same bomb site, but
yeah, they threw that
they allowed you to clutch that out. But yeah, nicely played from Element. The push kind of stalled a bit, but that was because the Sophia was below, and they waited the Sophia to rotate from the bottom floor all the way to the balcony of the archives, and after that they actually executed with the bomb plant. So that took some time, and that's why there was that a bit
just people out of position.
Bit moment, yeah,
a
breeze of silence.
Yeah, it definitely worked against them, right? Because they couldn't continue to apply that pressure.
Yeah.
Sweet Black with an interesting 6th pick there, as well as Uke picking around. Now, of course, they have switched sides, so now we're going to see Element Mystic how well they can defend Armory Lockers.
Well, we see some alibi in LATAM here and there, but most of the time, like, I dislike the pick because it's just, if you need, or if you actually suit the alibi holograms, it most of the time just tells that you were lazy on the droning. So
I guess that's a good indicator, right? That means you can maybe hide more successfully because they're doing a bad job on droning.
Yeah. But at the same time, if there is one region that I would use the alibi, it would be against LATAM people, because they play with an insane DPI on their sensitivity.
True.
So you are flicking a lot, so you might accidentally shoot those holograms.
Very good point, yeah. And we've seen some people, when they'll play with the holograms, they'll play kind of behind them. Not even necessarily the alibi player, just someone else will play behind the hologram, so when they shoot at them and trade fire, they end up at least marked in a situation where that can help you for a flank, for example, right? You can call out, they're marked, go for a flank, cover me while I bait them, things like that. I mean, that's kind of more of a team play, but...
Yeah. And now we have the Valkyrie play, so Element Mystic is preferring the Valkyrie over the Pulse. I usually also prefer Valkyrie because you also get the information otherwhere around the map that with Pulse you would actually need to go and put yourself on a risk to get that information. But with Valkyrie, you set those camps up usually early in the round and you get the same information more safely.
Good point, of course, assuming they don't find them, but it depends on how they're playing and how they're droning or using, for example, an IQ scan or things like that. In this case, though, a little bit of a slow push coming out from Immortals. They're just now opening the front door after the first minute here. They have, I'm not sure if they've taken any kind of CCTV control yet, but at least Cyber has moved around here into customs, is making sure that it's relatively safe by the door, which of course then they're going to start to open up that floor for the batteries. But they don't bring any batteries in this case. They didn't bring a battery or a mute jammer, so they pretty much left that wall able to be opened by one, their single hard breacher. So surprising that they're going to instead focus on contesting CCTV instead of contesting the armory wall, because they've got at least 2 people in here.
Yeah, we usually see CCTV play when there's mirror around, so you have the mirror window right there where Envy Teller is playing at the moment, but now there's no mirror, so he's just playing with those punch holes. There's one guy at the short, one guy behind the monitor, so they have a strong presence around the CCTV at the moment. So with Ying, this would be easier to take, so now without Ying, they actually need to find a way to fish these people out of these positions and push them.
The alibis don't seem to be helping the attackers at all either, because they seem to be making it easier to mark them. This little punch hole, we're seeing this a lot now on this map in terms of being able to fight, but I like the one side being reinforced, gives him a little bit of coverage. He's going to try and deny his flank, though, with those goo mines. At least get some indicator they're pushing him. This is starting to really stall out, but Sweet Black, in the meantime, does get a kill. Oni-chan following that up on a Cyber. This is starting to fall apart because now they're starting to rely on more support operators left. Yuke, in the meantime, does get a kill, but easily traded back by Envy Taylor. Now all down to Dokkaebi and Thermite. They are still full health and managing to get the wall open on Archives, but they don't have a lot to work with here. We can even see some crossfire here from the CCTV side. They've got the wall open into Fountain. Neilio going to be able to fight more angles. They also have the ability to have a lot more intel from the cameras of Oni-chan, as well as the evil eyes of Hetty, depending on where those are placed in relation to Archives and Fountain and offices. So they're definitely looking to make this push quick here. 13 seconds left as he crawls on in. Thermite going to try and make this happen, but there we go. Nice play by Oni-chan. Almost doesn't finish the kill, but he does do so. Now Diffuser left in the site. Diogo trying to creep around the corner, but gives away his position with the kill under Neilio. And unfortunately, Diffuser trapped in the room. Not going to happen. Nice defense by Element Mystic now starting to get a bit of a stride.
Yeah, nice defense indeed, and it all came down to that CCTV hold. Immortals spent 2 minutes trying to figure out how to push to the CCTV, and in the end they didn't even want to fight for that, so they just rotated to the open office. But the problem with that is that when you actually have people on the CCTV and the enemy team doesn't fight you, but goes to the open office, you have line of sight from the CCTV wall where NVTL was playing with the Legion all the way to the office, so you can actually fight that office push quite easily to the wall or to the window. So you pretty much need to take that CCTV if you want to push there, or use your smokes to at least get the termite close to be able to breach the wall.
Well, chances are we'll see a similar hold again down the line, of course, because they don't have to go, I mean, they can't go back to it right away, right? They're going to go to ventilations next. But down the road, when it actually comes to that, you think we're going to see that kind of adaptation for Immortals, or is it just going to be a case of them trying to slug it out again over top of that? And by the way, I think we have a tactical or technical timeout here for Immortals, so we are in a little bit of a pause for that.
So the first one was from Element then?
I'm guessing so. I'm not sure how. Yeah, it might have just been a miscommunication who was using the tactical pause, or it could just be a technical issue pausing it as well. It's hard to say, but yeah, I mean, I don't think Immortals were able to use 2 tactical timeouts.
That wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, unless the rules have changed. I mean, it was interesting to see, like in the match we just did, the Fnatic versus Map1 one, we saw pretty much Map1 using most of the timeouts, whereas Fnatic didn't seem to need them as much. So we are going to go back to the game though, thankfully. So we will see that ventilation room play. We're going to see a little bit different operator lineups. We're going to see a mute, for example, from Sweet Black. What would you say is the good use of the mute here on ventilation?
Well, they're going to 6-bit.
Oh, no, never mind. I guess Vigil it is then. Well, we know what that's used for.
Yeah. Mind games.
Yeah.
Mind games. Mind games.
Well, no 6-pick coming out from the other side. Attackers going to go with what they showed.
So this one should be easier for Immortals, because when you play the ventilation a workshop bomb site, you usually play around the armor. You don't go to the CCTV, because if you would actually hold from the CCTV, your defense would be so spread out that the enemies could actually pick you up one by one quite easily. So you are more forced to play around the armory or the archives area. So it should be easier to Immortals if they drone it out that, okay, we can take the map control now.
I would also say that's also due to where the drop patch is placed, right, too? Because if you try and hold CCTV and you try and drop out, you're going to drop probably into someone down there in customs. Whereas if you drop the other drops, you're dropping closer to site.
Yeah, exactly.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
We'll see how it goes here for these defenders. Trying to play a little aggressively. You saw Sweet Black on that Vigil. So trying to maybe open up some poke holes.
Yeah, at least one Valkyrie cam was thrown to the blue area, which is a really good place for Valcam because it gives you so much information. Oh, nice Cyber.
Wow.
Sweet Black already.
Cyber with the pistol even. Well, that peek definitely did not work out. We see a lot of Vigils try and peek, and sometimes it really backfires. I feel like it works a little bit better sometimes with a Doc or a Rook. That's a free phone hack as well for Diogo if he can get in there, feel safe doing so.
Yeah, that's going to pay back pretty hard because they are playing the Valkyries, so now they also have all the wild cams to their own usage.
Yeah, either that or they're going to have to destroy them, right? Which either way, you put them in a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So good early pick. Unfortunately, that's going to cost their team more than just 1 life. Well, they are going to use some drones as well in addition to the cameras. They're going to spot out the bandit of Nelio.
And also, like, using Vigil to do the spawn peek, I don't know, like, you have the Valkyrie to do it, or Legion. Well, I wouldn't use the Legion. I would use the Valkyrie from these operators, or maybe the Bandit. Yeah. But you want to have that Vigil to deny the droning, or at least hinder the droning, and keep the enemy team questing where is the Vigil. Is it upstairs? Is it downstairs?
That's the whole point, right? Delay.
Yeah, delay. Use the Vigil to play the mind games. Where is the Vigil? But now, if you peek with the Vigil, you don't have that option, and you have the operators like Valkyrie that can throw his black eyes early round, and then he has done his job pretty much. Of course, there's the C4 to use, but still.
Good spot there coming out and spotting the attackers trying to punish him the passport. And we also got information that first tactical timeout was from Element Mystic, which makes more sense because they took it when they were losing, and now we see Immortals take it when they're starting to lose.
Yeah, those spots actually came from blue cam that's placed around the ventilation vents around the blue area. So when you throw the cam there, you can see the blue, the Harry Potter, and also you can see inside the passport. Heady take a kill to Novus. Nice headshot with the SMG-11.
Yeah, good early kill there. Trading it back at least on an obvious, but an early Ash kill is not usually a big kill for the defense team, of course, because that's just an entry fragger down. Most of the utility players are still left alive. We hear phone calls still going out from Diogo as well. They also have the Candles to be able to start to make an aggressive push if they can get Oni-chan out of customs here. You see the Zofia grenades, lifelines going in and starting to stun him a bit, but no one to follow those up means they're a little bit wasted. They do give some intel, though. In the meantime, he almost makes that fight work. Cyber, though, taking about 25 HP in damage. Now an advantage 4 versus 3 with that kill. They also have more map control. Candel starting to come out to take more control of that top floor. Fortunately, Diogo, though, losing that winning that fight against Envy Taylor. Nelio, though, trading it right back onto Cyber. We do have Hetty downed as well in the meantime, so it's all on Nelio to make this work as he runs through the security checkpoint there, and unfortunately cannot find anyone. Diffuser does get planted. Does have a little bit of probably callouts from Hetty, but in the meantime, he cannot find enough shots. Just taking his pistol to do what he can. Manages to drop down successfully, but immediately killed by Uke, and that's Cyber, of course, getting the kill on Hetty, who was bleeding out.
Yeah, it's like he had used all his SMG rounds, so he actually didn't have rounds in the SMG. He had to use the pistol. So the question is, what have you been doing?
Yeah, opening up too much probably.
But in the end, Element just lost 3 gunfights in a row, and that pretty much cost them the round. So
yeah, I mean, I like the idea that they were trying to play for control of customs for as long as they could, but yeah, unfortunately, I mean, it was down to the stuns really kind of identifying exactly where he was at, and they pretty much could win that off pre-fire, because the gun of Sophia's is just pretty nutty when you start pre-firing it.
yeah, exactly. And now the Vigil is back there. We do have Jackal, so the Vigil and Jackal are the most likely ones to get things 6-picked to something else.
Yeah, there it is. Over to the Jaeger, though, which is going to be more of a utility play than instead of roam, although you still roam with the Jaeger usually.
Yeah, they're actually going to keep the Jackal.
All right. Well, deciding even if they 6-pick away, you're still going to get utility out of that Jackal, I suppose.
Attackers need to locate
So,
and defuse.
last time on this defense,
Camera in
oh,
position.
did they play? Yeah, they did. So, last round.
Attackers discovered the location of the bomb.
Element had a pretty good idea of slowing down the round, so the Jackal is to deny that, because Element has players all over the map. They have people in the office, one was in the costumes, one was in the mail stairs, so Jackal is a pretty good operator to find out where the players are, because if you enter the CCTV, you can check has anyone been there in the last 30 seconds, you can go to the office, do the same thing, so you can close out areas of the map pretty fast where the enemy might be or might not be, so it just makes things faster for you.
You surprisingly don't see it a lot on border, though, either way. Also, we got some information that Evil Geniuses won their match 2-0, which is not a huge surprise. I don't recall who they were playing against.
Millennium.
Millennium, all right. So that is their second one. Their first 2-0, of course, was against the team you're seeing now, Element Mystic. So they are definitely on a winning streak right now, for sure, which they are one of the top teams, so not a huge surprise, although everyone here is top teams.
Well, they banned the Blitz, so I guess Falco didn't go nuts.
Unfortunate. Oni-chan taking a bit of damage there from the breach charge. He's going to try and fight this. He's going to try to hold his ground, but he backs off at the wrong time. Navi's completely taking advantage of that. He's looking for a follow-up as well, hoping Hetty tries to trade it, but he is not going to. He's going to stick his ground. Navi's, again, looking for any kind of follow-up flank. Good job pushing in and taking control of that, but now it's back to droning time. You hear phone calls coming out as well. Hetty deciding to finally answer that since there was no further push from Navi's. Diogo working his way through the front door. Cyber rotating around. Again, we're seeing some of these a little bit long rotates, but still 2 minutes left in the round, and they do have at least an initial kill onto Oni-chan here. So that's a good start. And you mentioned the Jackal here, seeing plenty of footprints. I like the way they just kind of float over the stairs. Those prints, but in the meantime, gets shot in the face while he's busy looking at those dirty shoe prints. Envy Taylor absolutely capitalizing on the stillness of that Jackal. Great play by him. And that is going to even things out, maybe more than even things out, because while you lose the intel of Jackal with the footprints, that's permanent. You lose the intel of Valkyrie, the cameras are still there.
Yeah. Exactly. What happened with Oni-chan was actually weird. I'm guessing it's because of the lack of international competition, but Ash rushing into the storage and breaching that wall and holding the angle to that A-bomb side door is super common in EU and NA, so maybe it's just something you haven't seen, but Ash does that so often, so it was weird to see. And then taking the kill with 2-1 with Illusion, nice pick off from the Teller's area.
Hetty down, bleeding out as well, and not finished off yet, but Navi's gets taken down. So despite Hetty being down, they are still at a huge man advantage here, about 3.5 people versus 2. diffuser needing to get picked back up. A little bit exposed to that hatch as well. Envy Taylor looking to get a third. Cannot find the shot. Cyber barely taking any damage, just 25 HP. He is definitely on a roll here in terms of trying to bring this back. Hetty does get picked up in the meantime, though, so he's back to 50% health. Definitely important because, of course, he is the smoke. Try and hold this off. Diogo trying to make one last phone call in the hopes that this will work. It's definitely not to 911. Cyber in the meantime looks like he's taking a bit more damage trying to make this push happen now. Neilio waiting for a drop from the hatch. In this case, Sweet Black going to be the one also watching it. They do get one ping there onto the attackers trying to push up Diogo. Cyber, he's going to go around the corners to the server stack here, trying to push it in time, but the feet are spotted. Diogo, that does mean he managed to get a kill onto the smoke. In the meantime, Sweet Black rotating around for a better angle and does exactly that, gets the diffuser down, which is more than enough delay for the defenders to take it.
Nice holdout from the Element again. I'm questioning what the dog copy was doing there, because you had only one phone call left and you used it and you don't do anything with the information you're getting. So I guess that's one reason why you're playing this match and not the match on the upper bracket. But yeah, you need to be coordinated with those dog copy calls. So once you call, at the last 30 seconds, you actually need to do something with the call, because that's the moment when the defenders are distracted. So make the call, do the push, have your Sophia ready to push with you, and use the information, because when you're pushing in, they rarely answer the phone right away, but at least you hear where they are, because you don't have the people to drone for you at that point when there is only 2 people alive. So the phone calls are actually giving you a lot of information. So use the information, use the calls wisely, and not just throw them out. I hate to see it when it happens. It's just like that, wasting it late round, or the other extreme is using it before anyone has even entered the building. That's what are you doing?
Just deciding to see if they're still home.
Yeah.
Well, we are going to see lockers again. So you were talking earlier about the way that they were playing the CCTV and how difficult that was. They're going to 6-pick the alibi again to help with the way they were playing that. I imagine probably similar positions, because I don't know if it was really so much about tricking them as it was about getting the marks on them, right? Making sure it was hard to get those shots on the CCTV. I mean, do you think it's going to work as well this time in terms of trying to hold that?
Well, if they play the CCTV again, Immortals know that what locations they play. They saw the one guy at the noob corner, one guy behind the monitors, so, and they actually spotted the Valkyrie from short as well, so they know the location somewhat that their Element like to play. So when you know what the opponent is doing, it's much easier to find a plan to counter it. But
also this time they brought the Ying.
Yeah, the Ying is pretty crucial to taking the CCTV, because it's quite easy to flashbang the noob corner, the hatch area, and also behind the monitors, and then just push in with the Ying and have the crossfires from the window and the cafeteria doorway. So yeah, the Ying pick, it makes a lot of sense in this one. And if you would see that the enemy team is actually not at the CCTV, you would still have the Ying for the late push. So it's a good pick.
Well, unfortunately, speaking of good picks, Envy Taylor with one, trying to follow that up from Oni-chan. Unfortunately, cannot find the pick, but does potentially a bit of damage there to Cyber. Again, just low one. There we go. Oni-chan just running from one fight to another. Yuke taking a bit of damage as well. This has definitely been a very aggressive defense. Not so much turtling in the CCTV, as actually playing aggressive first, knowing that, of course, yeah, they know your positions in CCTV, so play very aggressive, thinking they're going to be able to push up the CCTV and put some aggression. But more fights coming out here from Yuke as he takes a bit of damage. Just the sheer aggression of Oni-chan and Envy Taylor is completely throwing them off. And Neilio, in the meantime, still holding down CCTV for his team.
Yeah, it's all about the aggression and keeping your enemy at toes. And now they're actually rushing into the site, but it doesn't work if the guys are still on the CCTV. 3 kills for the speaker. 3 in a row. Nice play from Neilio.
That was again an embarrassing one where they were, I mean, they're lined up obviously because they're on a catwalk, but now Cyber, he has a minute 33 to work with, but he has to find 5 people and he's still sitting outside with no real intel. I can't imagine they've even gotten the drones very far into the site at this point, not to mention plenty of time left to shoot them. This is not going well at all, so I guess they played against the knowledge that they thought they had.
Now it's all about Cyber trying to rescue the round, but oh, nice wall.
Wow.
Second one.
Yeah.
Nice kills for Cyber. But yeah, that wallbang was actually really nice. Trade it. You gotta trade it and not take those fights one by one, because now they're fighting Cyber one by one, so they're giving him a chance to actually win this round. So you want to make sure in 1 versus 5 situations that you stack up with your whole team
Yeah.
and just decimate the guy.
Especially when the
he-
diffuser's dropped,
Yeah.
right? You can just surround him.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. He's going to try and get into a fight. Envy Taylor, though, finds the second of the round, and that was a nice series of plays by him and Neilio, and a little bit of support from Oni-chan as well. Fantastic round from Element Mystic. They definitely seem to be feeling a little more confident now.
Yeah, that was nice that they played the CCTV again with 2 people again, but this time they knew that Immortals probably gonna do something about the CCTV hole. They had the guys on the wrap hole, so they put the Valkyrie to push through the front door all the way to the front yard and kill the guy from the wrap hole, which was I think Ash, and then he also lit up the second guy pretty badly. So really nice play from Element.
Well, this could be the round that goes to overtime, though, because they're going to be forced to go to a third bomb site now. As you mentioned earlier, Bathroom Teller's a bit harder to do without the castle. They're not going to try customs.
This bomb site is yet again one of those where you want to play it from the top floor because you can make so many holes to the full top floor and hold pretty much the whole B bomb site from the above. The other way around is that you play it from the workshop floor area, but usually when you do that you actually need the castle. But when you play it from the upstairs, the castle is not as necessary to have.
Yeah, we've definitely seen it sometimes delay teams in terms of pushing from the hallway into office, but I mean, it usually gets opened at some point, sooner or later, right? Especially with all the soft breachers here, it's not going to make a huge difference because those would just get decimated pretty quickly.
Yeah. So they are going to set up the top floor defense as I guessed it, and the enemy team Immortals is probably going to have 2 options to take it. One is directly from the office balconies, or the other one is to go from the CCTV to the armory and then push from the armory towards the offices. Or you can
5
just
seconds to go.
not
Frag out till
care,
you win.
not care that there's people upstairs. Go from the passport with Sledge that they don't actually have. You can work with that with Ash. So go from there straight towards the Teller's bomb side and just go in. Don't care. You know they are upstairs with multiple people, so fight the numbers. That's
Yeah.
one way to do it.
You just have to try and sneak that plant in, right? Distract them enough. We'll see, though. They are doing at least the droning upstairs. Of course, they are going to open up that wall, I imagine, at some point. Although, I know, it's without Thermite, it's a bit more of a trade-off, right? Because you can either open up a wall upstairs with the because they reinforced the whole office wall, or open up that Teller's wall. In this case, then probably just going to use the window, I would imagine, use those X-Kairos, maybe more so on the office wall, you think?
Well, Element is ready for both pushes, I would say, because they shot the floor or the roof out, so even if they would have been the rush, they would have been prepared for that. But yep. Let's see how this will evolve. It seems like Immortals is just feeling out the round, droning a lot, holding angles at the moment, while Element has stabilized the bomb site and made all the holes that they need to hold it.
Well, at least they have some good intel here on holding this top floor. They are pretty spread out, though, I'd say, on this defense, because they're trying to hold multiple areas. They're holding ventilation. They're holding, well, they were holding the lockers, and then, of course, holding office as well. They do spot that camera of black guys, but there we go. It takes them a second to get the right angle to shoot it. In the meantime, of course, they're going to be looking eye to eye while they figure it out. Droning still coming out as they try and take control of the actual top floor area. As you mentioned, the armory push is the other alternative, and it looks like that's what they're going with so far, rather than dealing with offices as much.
That's only 2 guys pushing. One is droning and the other one is pushing. Always takes the first kill to Oni-chan. Towards the cafeteria door, I think. No, actually it was in the front yard.
Well, this push here coming in. Neilio cannot land enough shots. Cyber wins that fight out, which is not a surprise. He's won a lot of fights now. Just barely not spotting the head there. Let's see, is it just due to the outline? No, it's right there. He just doesn't spot it due to the sightline, and Sweet Black wins that, having an easier time spotting him. That is now defenders still at a huge disadvantage, but they changed that with Envy Taylor getting a kill onto 1. That is the Heart Breacher down, which they might not have even been able to use just yet. Now Envy Taylor feeling a lot more secure, knowing the wall cannot be opened as they got that kill into 1. 3v3. Pretty much everyone at full health except for Yuke is taking a bit. Navi's a little smidge. They are going to start to try and push a bit more onto CCTV, it looks like. Or not CCTV, but into Workshop and servers. start to make this happen here. He doesn't shoot the camera sprays, and he wants to continue with that stealth approach. In the meantime, Diogo, though, with the pre-fire. Navis, though, stealth or not, Head, he's going to finish him off and bring this to a 3v2, 13 seconds left. Defenders at the advantage, rotating around, looking for anyone in sight. Does spot one. Sweet Black takes down Uke, and Envy Taylor finishing it off. That is now a successful defense of Bathroom Tellers without Castle, and a nice one at that. And that puts them in a great position there as they take the map. Yeah.
That is the map.
So, well done by Element Mystic, definitely making up for it. And after Fnatic's win earlier, it's looking pretty good for APAC to maybe have a strong presence here, despite their early losses.
Yeah, exactly. All of the teams might have a chance for the being on the playoffs, so looking good.
Yeah, because even Norarengo's still in it, right? Because they only lost their winners bracket match. So definitely a chance we could see at least one APAC team make it a bit further. I mean, out of the three, though, which do you think has the most potential to make it to the next step?
Well, historically, it should be the Fnatic